Hello everyone and welcome to another video. My name is Lance and today we are taking another look at Bloodborne. This time a bit of a look at the town of Hemwick. This is one of the earliest areas that was developed for the game, so it should ideally be ripe for the picking when it comes to cut content. Some of the things you see here today were initially uncovered by SanadSK, so once again a thank you to him for pointing me in the right direction with restoring these in-game. With that said, let's begin. So for today's video, we are mostly looking at some various bits and pieces that didn't make it into the final game, but do leave behind some hints to older versions of what the game was about. First up with this vessel that appears to be built for transporting coffins. It's filled with various expensive looking items, suggesting that perhaps it was a vehicle used to transport high-ranking dead bodies somewhere. As we know, Hemwick is connected to the vampirishly undying castle of Cainhurst, so it's likely that this is something left behind that built a stronger link between these two areas. It's adorned with photos that are reminiscent of Cainhurst and coffins that look fit for a king or queen. Considering that it has no textures on the outside, it's likely that this was intended to be used in a cutscene where it would only be seen from the inside. Next, we have this simple coffin, which is actually the same design as one of the coffins in the previous clip, but this time just sitting alone and not covered with candles or anything else. There's no particularly identifying emblems or anything like that on it, so there's not much we can get from this. Here we have one of the other coffins that was also inside the vessel shown earlier, and although it doesn't have any textures, we can see that it does otherwise appear to be that same larger coffin. Another coffin here. This time it doesn't appear to be the same as any of the ones that were inside the vessel, and it has some flowers resting on it. I can't imagine what the original purpose of this one was, but the flowers definitely leave a lot of room for speculation. So here is the final coffin, which is one of the ones that was inside the vessel from earlier. It appears that these coffins all exist as separate objects, so they could be placed in a room for the player to interact with, perhaps as a way to trigger a cutscene featuring all the coffins. Now, as for the final unused object for Hemwick, I have something very interesting. At first, it just looks like a chair, and off the top of your head, you'd probably say that you've seen this chair in Bloodborne somewhere before, but it absolutely does not appear anywhere in the game. It's certainly a nice chair, although it's a little broken. It might seem strange to focus so closely on an unused chair, but I've been digging through quite a few files recently that make me think there's a lot more to this than I first realized when I was recording this video, and I'm hoping I'll have more to show you in another video soon. Now, there's also quite a few chunks of map data that are never loaded into the game for Hemwick, and they just look like they're just testing areas used to design certain bits and pieces that would appear around Hemwick. There's nothing huge to show you here, but I figured it wouldn't hurt to just give you a quick look over them and let you use your imagination with regard to how some of this might have, at some point, have been planned to be used in the game. So I decided to actually take a quick trip to Cainhurst and have a look for some unused items there as well, since I was so close by, and once again I came across a chair. It looks totally different to the last chair we saw unused in Hemwick, but it's intriguing that these two areas have these unused chairs. Once again, I hope to have a chance to elaborate on this further in a future video. By the way, that's your cue to hit the subscribe button. Other unused objects in Cainhurst are just this set of armor that looks like it belongs in the Queen's chambers but never actually got used there. And a few versions of Cainhurst's item chests that are designed for use out in the snow but never actually got used. So with Cainhurst under-delivering on the unused objects front, I decided to try some sequence breaking to see what might happen if I tried to get into the Queen's chambers without actually wearing the Crown of Illusions. I removed the wall behind Ligarius, but unfortunately there's nothing there, and I just fell to my death. I also hacked the game's lanterns and teleported to the Queen's chambers, and although she greeted my arrival, I didn't last very long there. It seems like the Queen's chambers are completely missing until you wear the Crown of Illusions to make them appear. Well, I hope you had a bit of fun with this slightly less in-depth look at some of Bloodborne's cut content. Don't worry, I have plenty more cut enemies and creatures to show you, as well as off-camera secrets, more sequence breaking, and all sorts of unused features. But in the short term, if you'd consider liking this video and maybe subscribing to follow along as I find more of Bloodborne's secrets, I'd definitely appreciate that. If you want a behind-the-scenes look at how I create these videos, be sure to follow me on Twitter at ManFightDragon, and either way, thank you for watching, I'll see you next time.